How you doing? How you doing? And how you doing, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Patty, and I'm a little heartbroken because I have very, very, very limited time this weekend. I'm doing some side work and everything, and I also had to do stuff for my normal Monday to Friday day job. So we have just been going full tilt this whole weekend, and it was like, you know what? Getting some good hours, doing some side work. This is what my work hat looks like, okay? Look at all that fun stuff, okay? Your boy works. And I decided I was going to treat myself, grabbed a 50 pack, was like, you know what? We're going to do that as an intro to the video and everything. We're just going to go through like 40, 50 summons and just turn up a little bit because, you know, I was feeling it. I needed it today. And apparently, your boy did not hit the record button. I went to end the recording and realized nothing had recorded. At all. At all. So, the meme that you missed, and I swear to God, it was 100% meme, I got back-to-back 5 stars. Okay? And before I pulled those 5 stars, I did not have enough Masterless Starlight Glitter to be able to go and buy Razor, because I didn't have Razor. I didn't pull Razor. I had to go buy Razor with a little bit of rage, because my only Claymore user was Noelle. Noelle's all I have, and I pulled back-to-back 5-star Claymore weapons. Is this what I get for trying to get myself nice things? Is this what I deserve? Yes. The answer to that is 100% yes, and it's not debatable. It's not debatable. So what are we actually here to look at besides Petty's broken heart and feelings? We're here to look at my boy. My boy. Now, Bennett is somebody that ever since the beta, I've been really excited to try out. Looking at his kit, it looks absolutely amazing. And he's one of the only characters in the entire game that can boost the attack of your people. Like, his support role is not fillable by anybody else in terms of damage support. Like, he is showing up to work. But I don't see my boy get any love. I don't see my boy get any love at all. I have seen him towards the bottom of tier lists on Forbes and Washington Post. Y'all get out of here, okay? You leave this to the real gamers. But it's... my boy is great, and I absolutely love him, and his kit is so satisfying to use and play with. So we want to take a look at a couple of things real quick. So let's actually take a look at his skills first so that we're all on the same page there. So, normal attack, nothing super crazy that pops out here. Perform up to 5 rapid strikes, consume a certain amount of stamina to unleash 2 rapid sword strikes, and he's got a plunging attack. Okay. Nothing crazy. Passion overload, this is his E. Bennett puts all of his fire and passion for adventuring into his sword. The results may vary based on how fired up he is. Press a single swift flame strike that deals pyro damage. Absolutely amazing for if something's electro charged and you're not sure if you're going to have time to fully charge up your E. You can just do that real quick. Get your overload elemental reaction. And it does good damage. Like, it's a solid, beefy little hit. Hold short. Charges up, resulting in different effects when unleashed based on charge level. Charge level 1 strikes twice, dealing pyro damage and launching enemies. Level 2 unleashes 3 consecutive attacks that deal impressive pyro damage, but the last attack triggers an explosion that launches both Bennett and the enemy. Bennett takes no damage from being launched. Okay. Okay. And then let's look at his elemental burst, or his Q for my PC people. So Bennett leaps towards the enemy, performs a plunging attack, dealing pyro damage, creating an inspiration field. In the inspiration field, if the health of a character is equal to or falls below 70%, their health will continuously regenerate. Regeneration scales based on Bennett's max HP. If the health of a character in the circle is higher than 70%, They gain an attack bonus that is based on Bennett's base attack. Applies the pyro element to characters within this field. So that's nice. That's super, super, super nice. And there's a couple ways that you can build him to try and get the most value out of him. So I happen to super, super love his E. Let's actually take a look at that real quick. So there's your normal slice. It puts it on a 4-second cooldown. You get it back super fast. First charge, got a little attack there. Not bad. Still 4-second cooldown. And let's look at the fully powered up. Bah! And then that one goes on what? A 7-8 second cooldown? Something like that. That move is so, so, so satisfying. With the number of characters that have kind of, I don't want to say wet noodle E's, like Amber's E is great for blowing stuff up. If you get her constellations up to the point to where you can blow up the doll on command by shooting it in the foot, it becomes great. Like, it is so much better than it is in its base form. But even in that better, more updated form, it's still kind of meh. Like, there's just some E's in the game that are not super, super satisfying. And this is the farthest that you can be away from that, because there's nothing better than hitting this in a fight, because it just does so much chunky boy damage. And if you're on, like, super uneven ground when you go to do the E, we'll see if we have enough right here for it. But you can kind of set yourself up so that you hit something in that beginning of an arc where you're falling backwards. So if you do it super close to like a wall or a big rock or something that you know is going to launch you up and onto the top of, you can use that so that you stop, you know, if the whole arc goes like this, but you set yourself up behind something so that you basically just goes boop and get right onto it instead of having to go the rest of that distance down. And then you can dash once you hit the ground, but if you're hitting the ground much sooner and you can dash and re-engage, all of a sudden you're not losing that downtime in those fights and everything. So let's look at some of his gear and everything, and then we'll probably talk about like some different comps that you can try and run him in. Now, I do not have a great amount of super, super amazing swords. This could be this is probably the best budget sword for him, hands down, because using your elemental burst, whoever's in that circle will get increased attack based on Bennett's attack percentage. So having that get boosted by 24% when you just use elemental burst, period, huge. And then I've got this on him because it's just, it's a higher level, and he just does a little bit more chunky boy damage with it. And right now, his damage for me is on par with my Zhangling, who, if you guys have seen some of my past videos, you know that's, like, she is my DPS girl. Like, she just be tearing stuff up. Oh, actually, I can ascend that lance now, too, can't I? Not now. We'll work on that stuff later, after we're done the tile job for the day. Alright, so weapon-wise, could you do something besides these two? I don't have a lot of 4-star weapons, obviously, so some of those could be really good. Obviously, 5 stars are busted. But if you're looking at the 3 stars and trying to do a budget build, I would probably stick with Skyrider. You don't really get any super benefit from having crit, so Harbinger of Dawn is out. Cool Steel. Yeah, no, this is not really useful at all, considering this is a pyro character, so that just wouldn't make sense to use. Fillet, Jesus. Blade, this is a world drop. You can't get this from a normal summon, so some of you might be seeing this and aren't far enough in the game yet, and they're like, yo, what is that? Yeah, no, it's gross. It's gross. But I wouldn't really put that in like the beginner guide for Bennett and everything. Could that be really, really good if you end up trying to use Bennett as your main DPS? Possibly. I don't think Bennett's going to be an amazing long-term DPS, but I know he's going to be impactful in a very big way in early and mid-game. And then once you get into Abyss, he is going to be one of the best supports for Abyss. He's also one of the best characters for playing with other people and everything. Yeah, so multiplayer, he's in top 5. Easy, easy, easy. Just for the utility he does, the damage that he shows up with. Bennett is great. Bennett doesn't get the shine or the praise that this man 100% deserves. So, weapons, nothing super, super crazy here. And you might look at this and be like, oh, going for a budget build there, Patty? A little bit. Little baby bit. So, I don't want to go too far into any set. So, like, let's look at, not Berserker, not Adventure. So this one, why didn't we go all the way into the 4 set for this one? Because charged attack really doesn't matter. If you're trying to do a heavy-hitting, slow melee attack with him, you're using your E. You don't really use the charge attack all that much except to pepper it into combos. So we don't really get a benefit from a 4-piece of set of this at all. But that 2-piece attack, 18%, we already, if you remember what the elemental burst is for Bennett, you know that him having more attack power makes his elemental burst more useful for the rest of the party. Plus he does some chunky boy damage. So that's why we're running that set. If I had all of the luck in the world, and because obviously I'm stacking full attack on this boy right now, if I had the ability, I would have liked to try and go for, I think there's one other set that will give you, yeah. So the Brave set can also give you 2-piece 18% attack bonus. Could you build him and pair him with, 2 Braves and then 2 Resolution of Sojourner? Yeah. And that would be potentially a really strong set. But you're really locked into needing attack percentage on these last 3 artifacts here. So if by the grace of God you can manage to pull that off, oh yeah, you're going to have an absolutely gross Bennett early game, mid game, and, late game, that's a whole different gear set. So we can't even talk about that yet because we're 100% ignorant on it. I just got to world rank level 2, guys. I know, I'm slow. I work a full-time job. I have side jobs, and I try to run a YouTube channel. I'm sorry. But we're getting there. So in the meantime, since I don't have an amazing Brave set to use alongside the Sojourner set, we're doing a budget build. And I think the most impactful thing that you can go for when trying to make up a gap with something that's less than optimal in this situation is definitely getting the extra HP. So if you remember the other part of his elemental burst, Fantastic Voyage, is that when they're below 70% health, they will heal continuously while standing inside that circle, and the amount of that heal is based on Bennett's max HP. So you kind of... In my personal opinion, you want to build this man as an attack support. You want him to help all of your people that are showing up to work do as much damage as humanly possible with all their combos. So optimally, you would want to pop Bennett first and then start using everybody else's stuff inside that circle because they're just going to do crazy numbers. I actually got another floor higher in in Abyss from getting Bennett. I didn't do anything super, super crazy, but having him as the 4th person on my team let my team stay alive and do enough damage to progress through. So in my opinion, he is absolutely huge. There's another thing that you could do with his build. You could take him more of the Exile set and everything so that after he uses his Q, he immediately starts regenerating energy. That also would not be a bad idea. That would be a more passive build for Bennett, and if you're not ever planning on using him to attack, I would probably suggest that in that elemental burst focused one, that you split between HP and attack for what you're going for. Maybe 2 attacks on the artifacts, 1 HP, and then do what you can with the sets and everything to try and give both HP and attack a little bit of love if you're purely using him in that support role and everything. I do not think that even if you focused his healing absolutely that he would be a substitute healer. He is not a substitute healer. He will not replace Barbara on your team. He will not replace Noelle on your team. But he will give them the room that they need to not have to, overwork themselves. You know what I mean? This prevents your healers from, potentially overextending themselves all the time to keep you alive in really tough fights. So having a, second support that has some healing can be really beneficial, especially once you start pushing those abyss levels and stuff starts hitting hard. Okay? Another person that, kind of falls into that same category, not really Noelle, but our boy here, because I have called this man a woman every time we've mentioned him on the channel so far. He's not terrible for that same kind of role where he's picking up some off healing, but he's not really good enough to be able to heal entirely on his own. Actually, so far I've found the most luck with pairing him with Noelle and then not having any other kind of healer, because Noelle can heal a decent bit. And then this guy can heal a little bit, and this guy has damage reduction, so that in with shields can be super, super impactful. But that's another video entirely, and when I have a little bit more time, that might be tomorrow's video actually, because I've been working on my Noelle a little bit, and I've actually leveled this dude up enough so that we can use him for testing and everything. So not bad, not bad, not bad. But our boy here is just whew. Constellation-wise, they're great, but nothing that I remember super standing at me being like, oh my god, this is absolutely ridiculous. He has some built-in energy recharge and everything if his health gets low. If you have that, using the Exile set could mean that you have energy constantly, but you kind of have to intentionally get him beat up so that he's staying below that 70% health. Some levels on something, that's okay. When using a normal attack, when executing the second attack of Passion's Overlord charge, level 1 allows an additional attack to be performed. This additional attack does 135% of the second attack's damage. That's nice. That's actually pretty solid. But again, nothing super game changing outside of this. That's a little gross. But he's not one of those characters where their kit becomes so much better once you get constellations. Still great, still good, still adds solid stuff to his entire kit. But it's not mandatory that, oh, you need him to have at least 2 or 3 constellations before he starts to be useful. Nah, he's pretty good out the gate. And yeah, this is, if you have Bennett, I highly suggest putting some shine on the boy. Let me see if I can find something to hit real quick just to show you the damage comparison between some of my people. Oh, there we go. There's some unsuspecting victims down below. Ooh, I thought I had a little bit more time. I thought my life flashed before my eyes. Alright. Excuse me, gentlemen. Excuse me. So real quick, that's where my base attacks are at right now, okay? This is where what was my carried DPS's attacks are at. Still decent. Just a little bit behind our boy. Alright, and they're gonna bully me to where I can't use my E. That's over a K damage, okay? That was 3 or 4 hits in the 350 to like 475 range. Almost 500. That is a lot of damage on an E. If you're using the build that a lot of people are using, which I'm still just going to call the Pokemon build, where you're throwing these 2 guys' pets out, then switching to Bennett to get some extra damage in on whatever they're fighting, does some beautiful stuff. And again, bud, you don't want none of this. Sit down. Sit down. You ain't met my boy. Can you just not flying thing? Okay. I think that basically covers it. Let me know if you guys have any questions about Bennett specifically, because again, this man is great, and I feel like he doesn't get half the shine that he does. And I definitely know that several months down the line, this dude will be getting more shine, because enough of us will be far enough into Abyss. We're like, oh no, he is great. Yeah. That's why is he at the bottom of all y'all's tier list? I'm just curious. I'm just curious. Only character in the game that has an attack buff for the whole team. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You pair that with all the potential attack buffs that you can get from like weapons in certain situations, from artifacts in certain situations, and you know, if you're getting 20% from here, 40% from here, all that stuff adds up real fast, and you do some buku damage. So hopefully you guys have Bennett. Hopefully you were already on the tip that he was ace, but if you have him and you haven't put any love on the man, just show him a good time. That's all Petty's asking. All right, guys, thank you so much. I super appreciate your faces. If you're still here with me, do me a huge favor. If you can hit that like button, if you can leave me a comment. Comments are one of the biggest thing, and the earlier you leave a comment on the video, the more likely the YouTube algorithm is to start pushing that to new people. I don't know why. Because they want every single one of us to start off every video going, please, guys, just leave me a comment. Say anything. It'll help so much. But in actuality, it super does, but none of us want to feel like dirty salesmen and have that huge long plug and explanation in the beginning. So if you've been coming back and enjoying some of the content, my silliness, I'd super appreciate you showing my little channel a little bit of love, man. Trying to do some things here, and I appreciate you. All right, guys, you're going to have to check your boy in the next one because we out of here. Deuces.